As teenagers, Noah and Nora began to change. Noah became cool, confident, and masculine, while Nora grew softer, more emotional, and increasingly possessive. The day Noah and Nora were born was the happiest moment in the lives of Mr. and Mrs. Jackson. After years of waiting, they were finally blessed with not one, but two beautiful babies, a boy and a girl. It was as though the heavens had smiled upon their union, icing their marriage with the sweetness of twins. The babies' sparkling eyes and adorable faces were enough to melt anyone's heart. "Oh, look at them!" Mrs. Jackson exclaimed, tears of joy rolling down her cheeks. "They are perfect!" Mr. Jackson couldn't stop smiling. "We must take them to church immediately. We have to dedicate them to God and promise to raise them well." And so, the twins were taken to church, where they were dedicated. The pastor prayed for them, and the congregation joined in, blessing the little ones. It was a clear sign of how deeply the Jacksons were rooted in their faith and traditions. As Noah and Nora grew, their bond became unbreakable. Mrs. Jackson loved dressing them in matching outfits whenever they went out. Whether it was a family event, a market trip, or a stroll to the park, the twins were always the center of attention. People admired their closeness as they walked hand in hand everywhere. At school, Noah proved to be his sister's protector. He stood up for her whenever anyone tried to bully her. "Don't you dare mess with my sister," he would warn, his little fists clenched tightly. He was selfless in his love, always sharing his lunch with Nora, even if it meant going hungry. If he received a gift, he would save some for her, even when she wasn't around. "You're the best brother in the world," Nora would say, hugging him tightly. At home, they were inseparable. They shared a room as children, and though their parents decided it was time for separate rooms as they grew older, Nora wasn't ready. Every night, she would tiptoe into Noah's room, unable to sleep alone. She was always scared of sleeping alone. Their parents were not comfortable with this and tried their best to help Nora get comfortable with sleeping alone. "Nora, you have your own room now," Mrs. Jackson said gently. "You need to get used to sleeping by yourself." "But I feel safe with Noah," Nora replied, her voice trembling. Eventually, their parents gave up and let her sleep in Noah's room whenever she felt scared. They showered their twins with love, but remained firm in teaching them right from wrong. Whenever Nora got into trouble, like breaking a plate, Noah would take the blame. "It was me, Mummy," he would say, shielding his sister from scolding. He hated seeing her sad and always found ways to cheer her up. He would always comfort her when he sees her sad or crying. He was such a caring and loving brother. Whenever they get home, Noah does his assignment, and whenever Nora feels lazy, he also does hers too, making sure she doesn't get in trouble. Their love was pure and selfless, but little did Noah know how complicated things would become as they grew older. As teenagers, Noah and Nora began to change. Noah became cool, confident, and masculine, while Nora grew softer, more emotional, and increasingly possessive. While Noah loved spending time with his friends, playing football and video games, Nora found herself wanting his attention, just like before. Whenever Noah is getting attention from other girls and talking to them, Nora will get jealous. In the middle of their discussion, Nora will always interrupt calling out Noah's name. "Noah, can I see you for a moment, please?" Yes, sure. When Noah finally comes to her, she would have nothing really to say. "You're always with your friends now. Nora complained one day. "Do they mean more to you than me?" "Of course not, Nora," Noah replied, feeling torn. "I just like hanging out with them sometimes. It doesn't mean I love you any less." But Nora wasn't convinced. Her jealousy grew, especially when girls at school started noticing Noah. One day, while in the washroom with some friends, a girl joked, "Nora, your twin brother is so cute. Can you help me get his attention?" Nora's smile vanished. "Stay away from my brother," she snapped, her voice sharp and her eyes blazing. The other girls were stunned. They began to whisper about Nora's overprotectiveness, wondering why she acted that way. At home, her behavior didn't go unnoticed. Whenever they were home and Noah wanted to step out, she would quickly demand him to tell her where he was going to without her. She would say, "You want to go see one of those girls from school, right?" And Noah would say, "No, I just want to hang out with my friends to watch football and play some video games." "Nora, you need to give your brother some space," Mrs. Jackson said one evening. "You're not kids anymore." "But he's my twin," Nora argued. "Why should I let him go off with those girls?" Mr. and Mrs. Jackson often laughed it off, thinking it was just the strong bond that twins shared. But deep down, Noah began to feel uneasy. Years passed, and the twins entered university. Noah remained the charming, outgoing guy everyone admired, while Nora stayed close to him, watching his every move. When Noah met a girl named Daisy and started dating her, Nora's world seemed to crumble. "Are you okay?" Noah asked when he noticed her sadness. "I'm fine," Nora said, walking away. One day, Nora visited Noah's apartment and found him laughing with Daisy. She forced a smile, acting overly excited to meet her. "It's so nice to finally meet you," she said, her voice sweet but her eyes cold. When Noah stepped out to run an errand, Nora turned to Daisy. "You know he has lots of girlfriends, right?" she said, laughing mockingly. "He'll break your heart." Daisy's face fell. "Are you serious?" "Oh, absolutely," Nora replied, feigning concern. When Noah returned, Daisy was gone. "What happened?" he asked, confused. "She said she's not interested anymore," Nora said casually. Noah tried calling Daisy, but she didn't pick up. He rushed to go find Daisy, but when he arrived at her place, she accused him of doing a lot of things and said she never wants to have anything to do with him. Noah returned home, sad, and couldn't understand what went wrong. Heartbroken, he turned to Nora for comfort. "Can I stay here tonight?" Nora asked sweetly. Noah agreed. That evening, Nora prepared dinner and they ate together. But as Noah lay down to nap, he felt her hands on him. "What are you doing, Nora?" he asked, sitting up in shock. "Noah, I love you," she confessed, tears streaming down her face. "I don't see myself loving anyone else the way I love you. I have been meaning to tell you this for so long, but I couldn't hoping you would realize on your own. I just want you to touch me and kiss me. Please, just kiss me." Noah froze. "But you're my twin sister," he said, horrified. "This is wrong. You're hurting me, Noah. Don't say that," Nora cried, forcing herself on him. Suddenly, a knock on the door made them both panic. They froze, their hearts pounding, as the tension in the room reached its peak. Noah's heart pounded as he walked to the door. He hesitated for a moment, then asked, "Who's there?" Silence. A strange feeling crept over him, but before he could react, the door burst open. A heavy fist smashed into his face, sending him stumbling backward. Before he could recover, several men stormed into the room, their eyes filled with rage. "Beat him!" one of them growled. Noah barely had time to shield himself before fists and feet rained down on him. The pain was unbearable. Blood filled his mouth as he tried to fight back, but he was outnumbered. Nora screamed, begging them to stop, but the men pushed her aside. She fell against the table, knocking over a lamp that shattered on the floor. One of the attackers, a tall, muscular man with a scar on his cheek, stepped forward. "So, you think you can play games with my sister and break her heart?" His voice dripped with venom. "Who do you think you are?" Noah's vision blurred as another punch landed on his stomach, knocking the wind out of him. He collapsed to the ground, struggling to breathe. "This should be a lesson to you," the scarred man spat. "If you survive today." With that, they left, slamming the door behind them. Noah lay motionless, barely conscious. Blood trickled from his lips, his body aching from head to toe. Nora rushed to his side, tears streaming down her face. "Noah, please, talk to me." The neighbors had heard the commotion but were too afraid to intervene. Eventually, a few brave souls stepped in to help. Together, they carried Noah to a car and rushed him to the hospital. As he was wheeled into the emergency room, Nora pulled out her phone, her fingers trembling. She dialed her mother's number. "Mum, Noah, he's..." She choked on her tears. "He's in the hospital. Please come quickly." Mr. and Mrs. Jackson arrived in a panic. Seeing their son unconscious, covered in bruises, shattered them. They turned to Nora, demanding answers. "Noah isn't a troublemaker," Mr. Jackson said, his voice tight with worry. "Why would anyone do this to him?" Nora wiped her tears, guilt gnawing at her heart. It had something to do with a girl." Their parents exchanged worried glances. "A girl?" Mrs. Jackson repeated. "What girl?" "I don't know all the details," Nora lied, lowering her gaze. Days passed. Noah remained unconscious, his condition uncertain. The Jacksons prayed desperately for his recovery. Then, one evening, his fingers twitched. A soft groan escaped his lips. His mother rushed to his side, weeping in relief. "Noah, my son, you're awake!" Noah opened his eyes weakly. He was in pain, but he was alive. Mrs. Jackson hugged him tightly. "Thank God!" But when Nora stepped forward to embrace him, he gently pushed her away. "Nora, he's been through a lot," Mrs. Jackson said, confused. "She was so worried about you." Noah didn't respond. He turned his head away, looking out the window. His mother and father exchanged a puzzled glance. Something wasn't right. After Noah's discharge, things changed. He avoided Nora as much as possible. Their once unbreakable bond was now filled with silence and distance. Mrs. Jackson noticed. "Noah, what's going on? You and your sister used to be so close." Noah sighed. "Mum, please, I just need space." One day, while Nora was out running errands, an unexpected visitor arrived. Daisy. Mrs. Jackson opened the door, surprised. "Daisy?" Daisy lowered her head. "I heard what happened to Noah. I came to apologize." Noah, still weak, sat up. "Apologize?" She nodded. "My brother, he thought you played me. Nora told me you had multiple girlfriends. I was heartbroken. My brother saw me crying and got angry. That's why he came after you." Mrs. Jackson gasped. "Nora said that?" Noah clenched his jaw. "And you believed her?" Daisy's eyes filled with regret. "I'm so sorry. I should have talked to you first." After she left, Mrs. Jackson turned to her son. "Noah, is this true? Did Nora lie about you?" Noah hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, Mum." Shock washed over Mrs. Jackson. When Nora returned, she was confronted immediately. Nora, did you lie to Daisy? Nora's lips trembled. Mum, I thought she wasn't good enough for Noah. Telling lies that almost got your brother killed. Mrs. Jackson's voice trembled with anger. That's unforgivable, Nora. Tears streamed down Nora's face. She turned to Noah, her voice breaking. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to go this far. Noah stared at her for a long moment before saying, You hurt me, Nora, more than you'll ever know. Can we please talk in private? Nora requested. They stepped into Noah's room. Noah, I'm really sorry for everything. She sobbed. Are you going to tell Mum everything? Noah took a deep breath. No, but things can't stay like this. We need distance, Nora. This isn't healthy. Her eyes widened. Noah, please, don't leave me. I have to, he sighed. I'll ask Mum and Dad to transfer me to a school abroad. The attack is a good enough reason. Nora collapsed into tears. Please don't go. I've made up my mind. When Noah told his parents he wanted to study abroad, they agreed. You need a fresh start, Mr. Jackson said. We'll support your decision. Days later, Noah received his acceptance letter. It was official. He was leaving. The night before his departure, Nora stood outside his room, crying silently. When she finally knocked, Noah let her in. I don't know how we got here, she whispered. I love you, Noah. I know it's wrong, but I can't help it. He sighed. I appreciate your love, but it's not the right kind. One day, you'll find someone meant for you. She sobbed. Will you ever forgive me? Noah pulled her into a hug. In time. The next day, the Jacksons drove Noah to the airport. As he hugged his parents, his mother whispered, Stay safe, my son. When he turned to Nora, she forced a smile. Goodbye, Noah. He nodded. Goodbye, Nora. As he walked away, Nora watched, tears falling down her cheeks. She had lost him, perhaps forever.